What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Garden Warfare 2 top 10 things I bet you didn't know video. If you guys do go on to enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like if you guys are new, subscribe. These things are very difficult to find, so if you guys do want to leave your comments down below on some things that I haven't mentioned yet and you know about, leave them below because anything I can get in this game will be awesome. I think the last video I posted was like a month or two ago. Yeah, these things are not easy to find, and yeah, thank you guys so much for the support on these videos. I know you guys like watching them. But yeah, with that said, let's get into number 10. Coming in at number 10 is going to be there is a Walter White Easter egg in Garden Warfare 2. So if you just follow where I'm going on the screen, you will end up here. And there's just a bunch of little posters here, but you can see in this little area, there is a Walter White Easter egg. Now, if you compare this next to his Heisenberg form, which I'll pop up a picture right now, you can see that this is almost identical without the sunglasses on. This is almost identical except there is a zombie instead of, a human. It's just a cool, neat little Easter egg that I didn't know about until I, was looking around. And yeah, I just thought this was pretty cool. Coming in at number 9 is one that for some reason I literally had no idea about this, but I'm just gonna assume that a lot of other people had an idea about this. But when you spawn in the last point as zombies on Zombopolis, if you spawn on the higher point, if you look behind you, there's actually a Zomboss office. Like, there's just like a chair, there's a desk, and there's pictures there. I just never really looked behind me when I spawned in. I just kind of go and, defend the battery. So I never really thought to look behind me, but one day I just did for some reason, and there was just stuff behind me. I literally had no idea that was there, which the reason it's so high up on this list is because I just kind of assumed that people might already know about this and I'm just dumb. But yeah, I just think it's kind of cool that there is something back here. Detail is pretty cool. And yeah, coming in at number 8 is going to be the Call of Duty mystery box inside of Garden Warfare 2. So if you go in the backyard, if you start walking around, you will eventually find one of these crates, these brown crates. And this is a complete direct reference to the mystery box from Call of Duty Zombies. I don't play Call of Duty, so I don't know which game, but I have played enough to know this is a complete direct reference. I mean, it's in a zombies game, and it's the same color scheme, it's the same shape, basically. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't see any other reason this would be here. This is completely a reference. It's a shooter game. It has zombies in it. So yeah. Coming in at number 7, I bet you have experienced before, but you do not know what causes this, but it is that breakfast brains, and I found out recently, also, cosmic brains can move while shooting their ultra ball. No other super brains can do this for some reason. However, these two can, and I have a reason. It's most likely because they can charge up their shot. I don't know what that has to do with it, but that is most likely has to be why, because every other super brains just punches. So first I'll show you without punching or charging. As you can see, I'm moving around. I'm trying to move around and I can't move with the ultra ball, but then I start to slap and I use it and I can move a little bit. I don't know why it's like this. I'm gonna obviously just assume it's because of the charge. I don't know what the charge has to do with this, but it's kind of cool because it's kind of useful sometimes. Every once in a while, I'll accidentally do this, and it actually comes out to be useful. I always thought this was lag, and then I found out it wasn't. If you try this with every other super brains, you will not be successful with it. It is the charge, and I'll also show you with cosmic brains just in case you don't believe me. But yeah, I don't know why this happens. I still need like an explanation for this, but it's still a pretty cool feature, and it could be used offensively very well in some cases. Like, I've used it pretty well offensively, and it's come in handy a few times. But yeah, that is number 7. Coming in at number 6 is also a Super Brains fact. However, you can do this with every single Super Brains as long as you have your Turbo Twister. Basically, Turbo Twister can put out fire damage. I mean, it makes kind of a little bit of sense, catch on fire and you spin super duper fast, and obviously, the fire is going to be put out, which is pretty cool. It only works, as I found out, if you are already on fire before you use the Turbo Twister. If you use Turbo Twister and then you catch on fire, it doesn't work, which, I mean, okay. I mean, Turbo Twister could be used a lot more if it put out the fire if you were on fire, even when you're using Turbo Twister, but hey, it's okay. It still puts out the fire, which is actually pretty cool. In case you're like hiding behind a building, you're really low, and somebody shoots you, and then you can just use Turbo Twister and you're not on fire anymore. So I will show you a demonstration of this. It's, it's pretty basic. There's really not much else to say. Use this to your advantage. And yeah, I mean, Turbo Twister more and more is being found out to be a little bit better every day. It used to be really good, but now it's like literally the worst ability in the game. But now it might not be the worst ability in the game. Obviously, I'm joking. It's still pretty bad. Coming in at number 5 is going to be that the park, Chris Park, is actually named after a member of PopCap who worked on Garden Warfare 2 and partially worked on Battle for Neighborville until he unfortunately passed away at the age of 27 from leukemia. But I just thought it was really funny that they named this park Chris Park, because basically that was his first and last name into a park in the game, which is, I thought it was really cool. And a little bonus, in Battle for Neighborville, in the credits, there is a little section that says, in memory of our friend and colleague Chris Park. So that's very heartwarming, and I just think it's awesome that they get to remember him. He solidified in Garden Warfare 2 and in Battle for Neighborville for his amazing work, and I just thought this was really, really cool. Coming up at number 4, it is going to be one that I somehow didn't find out until the very end. This is the last fact that I actually found out, and it is that in the split screen menu where like the two TVs are, you can actually see on the bottom TV that Rux's old shop used to be called Gnome Depot, which is pretty cool. I didn't know about this, and because these photos were taken in like the very early beta, because you can see that the Chomper had 150 health, and also these buttons didn't have any labels on them. There's no Y, LB, RB, or if you're on PlayStation, there's no triangle, and then the bumpers, I don't know what they're called. But also, this is also a direct reference to Home Depot, a home improvement retail store. I didn't know about this until I randomly stumbled across it, and I think this is really cool, because you also get to see in the beta and how they did this. Coming in at number 3 is one of my favorite things to do on Moonbase C or Lunar Landing, and that is the gravity base low gravity glitch. So if you do not know what I'm talking about, or you got confused about what I just said, basically in Lunar Landing and Moonbase C, as you know, if you've played those maps, there is a low gravity zone outside and a gravity zone inside. Well, actually, there is a way, very easy way to get low gravity inside of the gravity zone. So literally all you have to do is, if you have a friend on the other side, you can easily do this. If they go as a Rose and you are a zombie, and you get goatified in the low gravity area and you walk inside of the gravity area as a goat, when you get ungoatified, you will be able to jump around freely in low gravity. Mind you, if you do die or you go outside the gravity area and back into it, you will lose this effect. However, it is very easy to keep. So yeah, it honestly is just a super cool glitch, because people will be super confused on how you're jumping on high things. And yeah, and if you think you can just die and get revived, it does not stay. Trust me, it doesn't. But it is very easy to pull off, and I suggest you try this, and it is very, very fun. Coming in at number 2 is the invisible spikeweed glitch. Now this is a little harder to pull off. Obviously, if you do have a friend, it is still pretty easy. However, if you don't have a friend, you're probably not going to get this in a real game. And if you do, then you know what? Congrats. So basically what you want to do is, I suggest using an imp for this because they are the smallest and it's probably the easiest to do this with. So basically place down your spikeweed, and from what I've tested, it only works with vampweed. It might work with the other spikeweeds, but just do vampweed for this because it's probably the easiest, because I haven't gotten it to work with any other ones. So place down your vampweed with the imp. You want to move as close as you can to the spikeweed without triggering it. And then with your chomper, you want to go behind them and you want to eat them from behind. And now what this is going to do, it's going to push you forward with the chomper tongue, and then it's going to pull you back. Chomper is going to eat you. And then it shows the spikeweed being used, but it doesn't actually get used, considering that because the chomper ate you, in the animation you move forward and then back. So it acts like you got caught by the spikeweed, but in reality you didn't. So now there is just an invisible spikeweed there, and it works exactly like a normal spikeweed, or as I should say, vampweed for this example. It is really broken, because if you actually do manage to pull this off, you can basically lay down invisible traps, and it is just absolutely broken. It is one of the coolest glitches to this day, and the reason I found this out is because I knew that this game has some very weird properties with hitboxes going over other hitboxes, not actually triggering an effect. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like the goat thing, where it has a property where if you're goatified, whatever property you had when you were goatified, you keep when you're not goatified. Like for example, like the low gravity thing. If you got goatified in the low gravity area, you keep that property when you're ungoatified. It is really weird, and it's really cool to test, and it almost never works, but when it does stuff like this, it is freaking awesome. But you know what else is freaking awesome? You know what I also think you would think is freaking awesome? My number 1 pick for the top 10 thing you didn't know in Garden Warfare 2 is going to be that Garden Warfare 2 in its own universe is fake. Yeah, it is absolutely not real. And here is why I tell you that the fight between the plants and the zombies is completely fake, and it is all an act between the two sides. In the map Zomburbia, there is actually a little trophy case where Zomboss keeps all his prized possessions, including a certificate for being in Garden Warfare. He knows he's in a game, and so does everybody else. They all know they're in a game. This is all an act. It's not real. They all regrow, so they know they can just kill each other without consequence. Crazy Dave might not actually be crazy. It might be an act. Dr. Zomboss, he might not actually be smart. It might be an act. Who knows? It's not real. They don't hate each other, or maybe they do hate each other, and they decided, let's come together and let's hate each other in a video game. Yeah. It's not even real in its own universe. This is kind of gonna make the theories go a little crazy, because people have been having theories like this is like, I don't know, like Crazy Dave dream or something like that. It's a little weird, because playing a game that they know they're being played in a game, kind of weird. It's like, you know, like the movie Wreck-It Ralph, like they know they're in a game, but they act like they're not in a game. It's kind of like that. You know, they could be listening to me right now and be like, oh shit, he knows. Yeah, I just thought this was a very cool detail. And I have never heard anybody talk about any like these theories about it or anything about it. It's just cool to know that even Zomboss knows he's in the game, and all the zombies do, and they may not actually hate each other. It might just be for a selling point. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to drop a like. If you guys need to subscribe. Remember, drop your comments down below about your facts that you may not have known, that I did not know, for a chance to be featured in the next video if I make a next one. I know the other ones may have been a lot more interesting because, you know, this game is running out of things to find because it doesn't get updates anymore. So, yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy regardless, and I'll see you guys in the next one.